Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So in my last video, I was talking about Jesus on the cross and the Sabachthani and Sabafawani, comparing all the Gospels and seeing what they said and if they were actually congruent with each other. And we showed that they're not. There's only two Gospels that actually show what is being said by Jesus, and they differ. And at the end of my video, I said, if anyone has any more information, please send it in the comments, which you did. And you said, hey, what he's saying is from Psalm 22, the opening of Psalm 22. And I have that right here now, that passage from the Septuagint. So they're quoting the Greek text. But here's what it says. O Theos mu, proskes moi, hinati, en katalipes me. O God, my God, attend to me, why hast thou forsaken me? People pointed out that this is what is being said in Mark right after Jesus says Sabachthani. And we looked at that, and now that makes so much more sense to me that it's coming from the Septuagint and they're saying this from the beginning of Psalms. Because what they were trying to do is trying to link Jesus to the Septuagint, so that they're trying to say he's the Messiah because he's quoting the Septuagint and he's the newfound Messiah and all this stuff. Alright? But let's take a look at what it actually says before this. And in Mark, it says it here. And I showed you that they're taking it from a different text because this is in Byzantine. But right here, this is the word we're looking at. Methomeneomenon. What does that mean? Because after Jesus says Lama Sabachthani, which in Mark, in the Codex Vaticanus, he says Zabafowani, which is a completely different word. They're quoting, after he says it, O Theos mu, en katalipes me. Okay, so they're saying Psalm 22. But what's this word before it? Here's the verb right here. To translate. So that the verb is to translate. Now, how is it being said in this case here? So it's saying whoever's writing this in Mark is saying we are translating what Jesus was saying on the cross as the Psalms passage, O Theos mu. So it's not what he said. It's whoever is translating this from whoever was on the ground or whoever's writing Mark. They're saying they are translating what Jesus is saying, and they are imprinting the translation to put it onto Psalms, which that's not what that says, and I've shown that in my last video. But thank you to everyone who posted, hey, this is from Psalms, and that makes more sense to me now because they're actually quoting the Septuagint. And I've shown you before, what were the New Testament writers quoting? They were quoting the Septuagint. You can go check that out in other videos. It says the New Testament writers were quoting mostly from the Septuagint. So that means they're Greek. They're not doing Aramaic, they're not doing Hebrew, okay? It's not Hebrew. They're quoting the Septuagint. And Jesus is speaking in Greek magic, as I just showed in my last video. And how does that translate across into the English? It says, which is being interpreted. So whoever is writing this or whoever's on the ground is interpreting what Jesus is saying with the Septuagint Psalms passage. They were trying to link it between the New Testament and the Septuagint and saying, oh, Christ is the Messiah because he's the chosen one and all this. And it's like, no, you are making that up. You, whoever is on the ground, you're interpreting that and translating that into what you want it to be over what it actually says. So there you go, more evidence of how this word is being translated or interpreted by the people on the ground, not by what Jesus was actually saying. And they're doing it by quoting the Septuagint, the Greek edition of the Old Testament.